acceptance in the workplace. Many corporates and workplaces usually say that they're equal opportunity employers. And usually this is not the case. It starts at the recruitment process, the way some CVs are written, then you go into interviewing, and then in the workplace, there's judgment based on how you look, your age. There's just a lot of corporate bias that can happen, in the workplace. Today, we're joined by an amazing guest, and we're talking corporate bias and ageism in the workplace. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Jackie.
Welcome, Jackie. Oh, wow. Yeah, you know me as Jackie. Thanks for coming on set to discuss like corporate bias, ageism. I think you're the perfect guest for this conversation based on like, your dreadlocks, your tattoos, your age. But I guess we'll start with an intro. Who is Michael Michie?
Gosh, that was one of the hardest questions. Wow. Who the hell am I? I think I'd describe myself as a lover of games, technology, slightly bender of rules.
Yeah.
A fun person, I guess. I think I'm pretty fun. Yeah. Socially awkward a bit, but I'm still fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. I love art. Oh, yeah, now I'm remembering who I am. I love drawing.
Yeah.
Mostly creepy things. I love horror movies. Can't get enough of video games, adrenaline, a few board games, maybe.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
And what do you do like for work?
Currently, I work at Solve Kenya
yeah.
as their CTO.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
A CTO. And how old are you? I know we're talking about ageism, so if you wish to disclose your age.
30, but I feel closer to 29.
Wait, you turned 30? Okay.
I turned 30 last year.
All right, cool. So yeah, as CTO at 30.
Yeah.
How's the journey to get to a CTO at 30? That's like pretty impressive.
Grueling. I know I had one bad year where like I thought I could make it, and I wanted to get into that position while I was working at the bank, and so I don't think I had any days off per se. Like I'd have the weekends. I didn't take leave. Got the job, but I also got lots of fatigue. I had to take 2 weeks off due to fatigue. I thought I had a cold. Forgot my password. Couldn't lock up the office.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so I had to get some help with those two. Went to see a doctor. Couldn't find anything wrong with me, but I had all the symptoms, flu-like symptoms. And I was just told, go sleep, take some rest, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So it took 2 weeks, recuperated. I was really happy after that. Then that's when just at that stage is when I started now, I became the head of technology for Oriental Commercial Bank. Then 2 years later, I became their chief information security officer.
Yeah. And then after that, you left.
I left banking. It was stressful.
Yeah.
Wow. Banking as a corporate is half work, maybe half people, management, bureaucracy, politics, which was a bit difficult, and it does take a toll on you. So I left banking, went into the exciting world of legal technology.
It's exciting.
The opportunity was exciting.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the 2.5 years there. It was really amazing. Did quite a lot of good projects there. Wonderful team, wonderful people, nice culture.
Yeah.
There, I started growing my dreadlocks while at the law firm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How did they take you growing dreadlocks?
I was actually more worried about the tattoos.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I decided right off the bat, I'll just let them know I have tattoos after I got the job.
You told them after you got the job?
After I got the job. When I went for the interviews, I was in a full suit. But there was team building.
Yeah.
Which was my first team building ever to attend. So I was like, they might as well get to know the real me.
Yeah.
And sports, it's fun, it's activities that I like doing. So I didn't cover up my tattoos.
Awesome.
Yeah. And they got used to it. So Fridays when we had dress downs, I could wear my tattoos. Kept my afro. I never used to comb my hair on weekends. And that's what I used to think. It would look good if I just let it grow
forever.
out.
Never comb your hair.
Never comb my hair.
Yeah.
So that's how I started. And I just decided I'm never combing my hair. And then I let it grow.
Oh, cool.
So it grew into some shaggy dreadlocks.
Yeah.
Which I liked. Like, it was very cool. Like, just like rogue elements growing the way they wanted.
Yeah.
Then I had to get them a bit neater, a bit more presentable. But I wasn't going to cut them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. So just going back to like ageism, how would you define ageism?
Well, it's either you describe it as a prejudice, discrimination, and as well as, what's the other word? I'm forgetting the other word. So there's prejudice, there's discrimination, and there's stereotypes
Yeah,
towards your own age and other people's ages, because you can't have ageism on against yourself.
against yourself.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm in that phase of denial where I still think I'm in my late 20s. Like I'm still, I'll keep saying I'm closer to 29 than I am to 30, but I am 30. I'm about to get to 31. And I'm like, no,
Oh, you're
20s were really
just
nice.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to let
yeah,
go of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And have you had like, from your personal experience, had issues around your age where you're not progressing because some people might perceive you as like too young to be like a
Yes. Oh,
CTO?
so many times.
Yeah.
I
Let's talk
think
about that.
one time it happened that I did like it, and like it gave me some push to like, you know what, I should even do this when I'm even younger. Was what had happened was there was an opportunity to join an NGO,
Yep.
and they requested for someone with 15 years experience.
Okay.
So I still applied. The recruiter called me and they're like, oh wow, can we keep your CV? It's really nice. You've done quite a lot in such a short time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the client who wants this head of technology is not gonna pick you because of the age requirement. First thing
Oh
that rang,
wow.
yeah. So
There's an
I
age
was,
requirement on the.
so the 15 years experience was a must.
Okay. Yeah.
So immediately what I felt, like I was a bit taken back. I was looking for a new opportunity, and I was like, it wouldn't hurt if I told the recruiter how I felt, if I could be honest.
Yeah.
So I decided, I've never even seen the recruiter on face, but I was like, over the phone, I was like, it's very sad. I do wish them the best. I think they'll still have the same problems because
Yeah.
you're bringing in the same person, just different skin.
Yeah.
I was like, what's changed in 15 years? A lot in technology. I don't need to
Yeah.
have that knowledge that
Yeah.
far back.
Yeah.
I need to know things, where things are now, where things are going in the future. I don't need to know about systems that we no longer use or practices which are no longer there. I can read about them for historical purposes, but the 15 years felt like an over
Yeah. It's about too
exaggeration.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about too much, because then why do corporates want 15-year-old people with 15, 20 years experience to lead their teams, and those same corporates are there praising young billionaires
Yeah.
with startups like, oh, Zuckerberg did it, oh, who else did
Yeah.
it, and they were very young.
Yeah.
And you're like, why don't you let your employees do the same? Or why don't you give them that growth opportunity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting. And then so you talked about like you have it for yourself, and then other people can
Can
come
have
in
it.
and say, oh, you're too young.
Yeah.
Let's say you've gotten the role based on like everyone's like kind of okay. Do you feel like you gain the respect needed? Like say in your position as a CTO,
I
like
think you have to fight for it.
you have to fight.
You have to fight for that position, because being the youngest, they would tell you, oh yeah, it's your area of expertise. That's fine, you know that.
Yeah.
But when it's how to steer the business, then there's a tendency to like, well, Michael, that's nice, it's a nice idea, but you know the market we've been doing.
Yeah.
This is how things are done. You keep hearing that a lot. You also keep hearing how sometimes someone tells you, well, it's something which I don't usually like hearing someone tell you don't have enough skin in the game.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so which sometimes
But
does.
you've been in banking for a while.
Yeah,
So it's
but
not that complicated.
it's not that it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
banking has had only like 3 major things happen to
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
in its entirety of a lifetime, and someone tells you you don't have enough skin in the game.
Yeah.
Anyone, if, right now banking sometimes can be simplified to, do you know how to handle money?
Yes.
Simplified
And
that
also
way.
like with the digital age,
Yeah.
cybersecurity is a big
Yeah.
one, which is like you're an expert in. So how do you deal with that? Because I think it's like it feels bad, doesn't it, when someone tells you don't have skin in the game, you're bringing up ideas,
Yeah.
people are like shutting them down just because of your age. How do you deal with it?
Well, the professional way would be document it, like put it down in writing clearly, outline the pros and your cons, the benefits, give it to them, and then let them see if they can punch holes to it. Because they will punch holes over conversations,
Yeah.
over ideas across a meeting.
Yeah.
But when you put it down in writing and you tell them, this is it, tell me what's wrong with it, they take some time to come back to you and they tell you it's a nice idea, it's not the right time.
Yeah.
It's a very common answer. It's not the right time, it's not the right fit. We'll look into it at a future date.
Yeah.
Or it's too high risk.
Okay.
But it's just basically the idea came from you, it's high risk. If you went and sold someone else who's older than you that idea, they could pitch it.
Yeah.
And
oh,
they
interesting.
would get it.
So have you ever tried that? Go to your older colleague and be like, hey, can you pitch my idea for me?
I have.
Is that the unprofessional way to do it?
That was them. But I wanted to see the bank do something, and they weren't listening to me when I brought it out. So
Yeah.
I had someone else go in
Yeah.
and sell it as their idea.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other ways? So write it, document it. Do you think this should go to like the human resources?
It should.
Yeah?
I think HR has a big role to play in terms of fighting ageism.
Yeah.
Because especially now that we are doing interviews online, even when you're doing them physically, like you're told, oh, please turn on your camera, and then guys are like, oh, okay, how did this guy pass into how did he get
Yeah.
this guy here? So I did the interview for one tier 1 bank, and during the interview process,
Yeah.
and you feel that this bias, like they called out their own bias, and they were like, oh, Michael, you'll have to cut that hair.
Oh my God,
You're
they
going
told
back-
you to cut your hair.
Yeah, you're coming back into banking, and
No.
you'll be back to wearing suits. I was like, I feel like you're stripping away my identity.
Yeah.
So thanks, but no thanks.
Okay. I mean, that's a really interesting one. Stripping away your identity. And I've always I like to grow my hair natural. I just like bringing my whole self into work. Why do you think, like, especially Kenyan corporates are trying to strip away like individuals' identity by telling you come dressed in a suit, like ladies are not allowed to wear pants, like some universities in Kenya like that,
Yeah.
which is quite shocking. Why do you think this is like their way of doing the policies that they have?
I feel it's, if you see someone doing it and it's working for them and you decide to copy it, but you don't know the reasoning behind it, you end up with to say, well, it's not broken,
Yeah.
but it is fundamentally broken. So we borrowed a system, in my opinion, we borrowed a system of how corporates should look, how corporates should behave.
Yeah.
We've not changed how that has been, despite the fact that we've moved from the third industrial revolution and we're now entering the fourth, and everyone is still, you need a suit and tie, you need to look presentable. At the bank, I used to feel weird because I'm not customer facing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would want to come in, I only once come into my pajamas to the bank, and that was an emergency.
Oh yeah.
And I was still very early in the morning, like I think maybe 5 a.m., 6 a.m. So the one even, like, it still didn't feel like a win because I then had to leave, go back home, get changed,
Come back in a suit.
come back in a suit, yeah. But I feel it's all due to, like, we've seen it happen in other developed countries where it's always suit and tie, you look good. You can look good without a suit and tie.
Yeah, as long as you're presentable.
Yeah, as long as you're comfortable. Because if you're not comfortable the whole day in the office, then you can't wait to leave the office.
Yeah.
And then you can't wait to just push your work through and hurry it through. You don't even really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy the days when I'm in the office and it's a bit warmer, so I have to take off my jacket, my tattoos, and sometimes I'm just there and I start looking at them in the middle of work. I look at them. Oh, I need to get back to work, but it feels nice. Maybe I was feeling stressed. I look at the tattoos. I'm like, oh, maybe I should get a tattoo on this other side.
Yeah.
Makes me feel nice. The fact that I can do my hair like this feels good.
That's
like
so cool.
It's such a relief now.
Yeah.
But like, the small things matter a lot to people. I guess it also goes as far as how it matters to them, also to their mental health. For me, my tattoos, all very significant.
Something. Yeah.
And having to cover them up the whole day while working feels like I'm covering up a part of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not at my full potential.
That's very true. I just want to switch it back, like with ageism.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about younger people.
Yeah.
But I think there's also the older people who are like trying to come into the workplace. there's a perception that maybe they'll be, and I've had this a lot, like, oh, they might take too long to understand technology, they might not like,
Yeah.
but I always say I find so much knowledge and value having someone who's older, like say in a workplace. They kind of bring like sometimes like some sanity. Is there any thoughts around this? I know your dad, for example,
Yeah.
worked has worked for like until like yeah his older days. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just wanted us to chat about that a bit.
Yeah, so like there is a lot of wisdom to be bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do like yeah, for example, my dad, I do go to him almost
Exactly.
on every Sunday.
Yeah.
And we talk about corporates, we talk about work, we talk about technology. He's still an active reader, he's still very wise. He sends me and my brother books on email, links to free books, and they're all based on technology. And the surprising thing is he'll just like read a summary about that book, just curious, and then one day he'll just ask you, that book I sent you on Tuesday, did you have a look at it?
Oh wow.
And you're like, ooh. 'Cause you can't lie because you know he's had a look.
And you're gonna be
so
questioned.
You're going to be questioned. So there's that level of, with his age, how he brings on the concept of you constantly have to keep learning.
Learning, yeah.
And it's not, and somehow he's able to put like a check, a system where he's able to check, are we still learning? Are we still growing?
Yeah.
So yeah, there are those things which maybe only experience can teach.
Yeah.
And there is value in having a diverse group, not just young people, also older people.
Yeah.
There's also diversity of bringing in older people into technology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think like it really helps us in terms of building like tech and products that are accessible to all.
Exactly.
Because sometimes
Yeah.
it's just like bias exists, so you
Yeah,
just
bias
build
exists.
something that suits you and not really consider.
If you, or for example, if you look at banking, if you ask people, what's the average age of your customers?
The older.
It's the older people.
Yeah.
And then you ask them, okay, do your apps have accessibility features? No.
Very few. Yeah.
Actually, I haven't seen a single bank in this country that has accessibility
That's so
features.
true.
Yeah, and it's because then there are people you need to consider, all right, as people get older, maybe they're joints, so they're not going to fidget around with their two thumbs over a screen.
Yeah.
You're making your buttons too tiny that every time they press one, they're also pressing two or they're pressing four.
Yeah.
Like those kind of things. And if you had someone older in your team who was helping in the design process, maybe that could help. There's a lot of good places where both young people can plug in and push away the traditional brick and mortar systems.
Yeah.
And we have places where older people can come in and bring in some sense of stability.
Yes.
And
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm like you always like go to my mom, this happened at work, what should I, and usually it's like her advice that makes the most sense and
Yeah.
like kind of what you do. Sometimes you're like, I need this at work. Like it's just someone who's like kind of older and has had that experience and that wisdom to give you like some just practical advice.
Yeah.
Wonder how we do that, how we kind of like bring.
We should, I don't know if every meeting and every boardroom should have that, because I've had an instance where we were debating something within the office some time back with one of my employers, and one of the people goes, this isn't working.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, it does take time, it is a process. And they're like, it should be X to X, Y, Z. I'm like, it's not that simple. And as we keep on moving on, at some point then the guy goes and says, then let's just say that zero work has been done. I'm like, it's been months.
Yeah.
People have poured into this. You can't say zero.
Yeah.
And he went on and checked, killing the project, hitting it hard. No one stopped him.
Yeah.
At some point, I decided, okay, fine, let's do this. You do your report, say the project is dead. I do my report, say the project is not dead.
Yeah.
We give out the two reports, let the board figure out what's all the confusion about.
Yeah.
I didn't say it that politically correct, but I remember I was stopped and told I was being rude.
Oh, wow.
By that point, this guy had spent like 5-10 minutes being rude.
Yeah.
To everyone.
Yeah.
Not,
and this is an older
person.
Okay.
And there's that, of course, you should respect your elders, but then no one, not even his own peers, stopped him.
Yeah.
The minute I picked up his tone, I was stopped.
Yeah.
I looked like an aggressor.
Yeah, yeah.
But you see, if we had those kind of people like your mom or my dad or those calming people who would be like, no, let's tone it down a
That's true.
minute.
Yeah.
Like they don't have a bias towards either party.
Yeah.
That would always help. Like I think that's probably something HR should also be doing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you always feel HR's job, and it is a part of their job, is like I always believe if you and your employer have an issue and HR is to sort it, HR is still an employee of the employer.
Yeah.
So you always feel like I'm going to have to fight two people.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So we've talked about ageism, dress code, hair, anything else around like this professional code or how we appear, our appearance that you wanted to delve into?
No, probably just, I guess probably obviously and sadly that the fact that ageism disproportionately does affect women more than men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah.
So ladies are expected to look a certain way in their offices. Even as they get older, they still need to, there's an image they have to portray, not just for the purpose of power, but for the purpose of being taken seriously in the office.
Yeah.
And that, again, also, you feel that that's now just to diminish your output because you got to look a certain way so that when you say something, people take you seriously.
Yeah.
So it comes to the point of, if that was all a chat conversation, would you really have been heard? And that's now where the ageism bias then pushes in, because everyone tries to look younger, not just everyone. Yeah. And that's because we've really commercialized ageism as a society.
Yes.
That's why we have anti-aging creams and all that stuff.
Yeah.
No one really looks forward to getting old because no one's going to pay any attention to you once you're old. True. So the only time people are going to pay to you attention when you're old is maybe if you hold a position of power.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. If you don't, you're just another old person whose time ran out.
I've heard this saying that like women disappear or you're invisible when like after 40. So you just have to like kind of figure it out. But yeah, thanks for bringing that topic up. What can we do around that? Like apart from like, you know, for me it's having these conversations with people. Is there anything else? And putting it into policy. Is there anything else?
Well, you put it into policy, but then you also have to kill the existing culture.
Yeah.
Because you can write a nice policy paper within your organization or at a larger scale within an industry or even at a national level. And then company X decides, okay, that was nice, that was written for the industry.
Yeah.
We are still number one within our industry. Nothing needs to change.
Yeah.
We feel like this thing is going to bring too much confusion to people.
Yeah.
I remember when someone once told me, we don't have a dress code per se.
Yeah.
I was doing an interview. We don't have a dress code per se. But there are clothes you shouldn't wear at the office. And I was curious.
Yeah.
And the list was long enough to the point I was like, that's a dress code. I started asking, so what can I wear? Okay, what can't I wear? They told me, you can't wear shorts to the office. Mm-hmm. I was like, the shorts will go as just like around my knee.
Yeah.
Skirts, dresses would go around the same. Dresses are accepted. Yeah. Shorts are not. Why?
Yeah.
No logical answer.
Yeah.
I was told you always have to have a collared shirt or t-shirt.
Yeah.
I asked, okay, why can't you have a round neck? It's not presentable. Yeah. Why do people wear them? Like clothes were made from self-expression and being presentable. Like a pull neck is as presentable as a V-neck. It's just a matter of choice.
Yeah.
So how is this better than just like a lot of those things like didn't have the right answers. You're told don't wear open shoes. If it's for safety reasons, like you might slide or whatever, fine. Safety reasons aside, dress codes for me, okay, you can't say this, you can always try to push it to the extreme, but then those are the days like you decide, all right, it's Halloween or it's we're celebrating something, guys come, because we only do this once a year, it's cultural week or something, guys dress, or like, we're going to do a pajama party at the office, so guys come in your pajamas, but please think about it before you come in those pajamas. You're like,
now I'm thinking.
Now I'm thinking, you're like, more dress, like they loosen it so that it feels like a park, and you're not going to kill that culture with a policy.
Yeah.
But if you created cultures that now embrace people with tattoos, because
And
older
diversity.
people, especially, I can imagine when I'm 60 or in my 50s with my tattoos and wrinkled skin,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be that presentable to look at.
Yeah.
And it might turn people off when I start speaking. They first look at me and then they have already formed a bias about
Bias.
me.
Yeah.
And they're like, he has nothing good to say. You know
Yeah.
what? I bet he was a drug dealer
Yeah.
in
Or
his
Mungiki
past.
smokes marijuana all day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know all the things they say. Yeah.
So you can imagine when you get older, there's that perception, and they're like, what kind of life did he live when he was young?
Yeah.
Like, he just feels like we just see people, appreciate them for who they are, let them speak their mind or their heart, and then appreciate that.
Yeah.
Then just forget about the whole, oh, their hair, their tattoos, their piercings,
Yeah.
their dress code. They talk in a high pitch, low pitch. Some of you hear someone say, I don't like the way they talk in meetings. You're like, is it wrong? No, it's a bit shouty. You're like, but they don't have a lower set.
Yeah.
That's their voice.
That's who you are.
That's who they are. Like, it's
Yeah.
just, it is sad.
Yeah.
Like, I usually feel like that level of sadness because being that victim and then
Yes.
trying to change that. I remember I was once asked, how will you manage a team of older people?
Then that's
It's
I've
a f-
also gotten asked that a couple of times. How
Yeah.
you manage a team of older people or of a different race? Like, it's just how
They're
did you
still
answer?
people.
Exactly.
So my answer was a lot of the great leaders we read about got these positions quite fairly young.
Yeah.
It's just now that we have leaders who are much older than the average age of the population.
Yeah.
When your average age of your country is between 20 to, let's say, 24, and you are electing officials in their 50s and 60s, and then you're being asked how will you manage people older than you, and that's maybe like only 20% of your population.
Yeah, so true.
You have 80% to manage who are your age, who you can understand. And the ones who are older than you are still people. They haven't
Yeah.
gone through some form of metamorphosis and changed. Like, they're just still people.
They're still people.
Yeah, so I just said, Alexander the Great didn't have a problem. I don't think I would have a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
They did then call me. There's a word the guy used to describe me after the interview.
Oh, you are given a
Yeah.
label. You are labeled.
He labeled me.
Yeah.
I laughed because I did not because I didn't grasp the meaning.
Yeah.
Went and checked it out.
So you're like,
Like, it wasn't cool. Like, I thought it was a cool thing, so I was
Yeah.
really excited after the interview. So I didn't have a job, but then I was like, I was there like, babe, this interview happened. They said this. It's not, like, that was not good.
what is
I'm
the
like,
word?
I'm trying to remember. There's something near tyrannical, like you want to oppose the current status quo at any chance. You would break the rule and ask, or like if they can't validate the rule for me, I would
You
break,
break it. Yeah.
Which was like, then it's not a rule.
It's fine what you're doing. Yeah.
So like, at first when I heard the word, I thought they meant like I'm a genius, I'm thinking outside the box. That's what I felt. I was being told, no, they basically saying you're a hard head, you're stubborn,
aggressive.
Then I was like, oh, you want to come out like that.
Any Michie's last parting shots for the listeners?
We need to question our beliefs, not just to strengthen our existing beliefs, but to also improve our beliefs, abandon those which are not right, and build a fairer and more just community. Subscribe.